But all of these games, I felt like did a good job of showcasing the diversity that Xbox had, and it did
a game for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So as far as the next games, because like you said, it wasn't just all about Halo Infinite. The next game they talked about, which is kind of a surprise, they started off on this girl in the woods. It's a very
I know
cool
what this
trailer.
game is.
Yeah, but at the time of, I was thinking, what is this? Is it going to be some kind of like new, third person action adventure game?
Tomb Raider, but she's not Lara
I literally
Croft.
was thinking it was Tomb Raider type kind of game, but it was State of Decay 3.
State of Decay 3, yeah.
I honestly didn't expect this one so soon. I guess so soon. State of Decay 2, I don't remember when that came out, but I feel like they're still supporting that game through Game Pass. But it looked really cool. I don't know. Again, it was just a CGI trailer, but it was a really unique feel. I thought, again, it invoked those Tomb Raider feels for me. I don't know if it's going to be the same kind of survivalist gameplay with State of Decay 2, or if it's going to be something new, but that was a cool kind of a palate cleanser after Halo.
Yes, and I never played a State of Decay game, but just based on that cinematic trailer, like it looked really interesting.
Yeah.
Like you would never expect, we're not going to spoil the trailer for you. We recommend going and watching it, but like the ending was like, wow, this game looks interesting, and we all love a good zombie survival game. Okay, and
There's a lot out there.
There's a lot out there, and it'd be interesting to see how State of Decay kind of takes maybe two and expands on it, or maybe they're going a whole different route. We really don't know a whole lot of information.
It definitely was more kind of. I feel like from the trailers of 2 to this, it was definitely a different tone, which was unique. But they went, and again, this was a great thing about the Xbox Game Showcase, in my opinion. It was a solid presentation because they had something for everybody. Because after that, they went into Forza.
Yes, Forza Motorsport.
Forza, it was amazing to see. Now, this is unique because usually there is a Forza game every year, whether it's Forza Motorsport or Forza Horizon, back and forth. This was interesting because this is the year for Forza Motorsport. It would have been Forza 8 or Forza Motorsport 8. But it's not coming at launch.
No,
which is interesting. And I'm fine with that because we have so many games. But this one's also not called Forza Motorsport 8. It's just Forza Motorsport.
Yeah, they're doing that whole Call of Duty.
Yeah, so are they kind
Warfare.
of not rebooting it? It's a driving game, and the Forza Motorsport series is more of that simulation racing. It's not the Horizon series, which I personally
The Need for Speed racing.
Yeah, I like the open world. You go and you have all the different tricks and stuff you can do. The Motorsport series is more of that sim racing.
Drive your 400 laps, sit on your couch with your wheel.
Exactly, and it's they're all beautiful, but these games are so pretty. And this is the kind of game that's like when you want to show somebody the power of the Xbox, this is the one that you would show.
And they have announced it's gonna be native 4K resolution and 60 frames per second on Series X.
Yes, so that's exciting. The trailer they showed, the little CG. Well, it wasn't CG.
It was gameplay.
It was
footage.
gameplay. That was actual in-game engine footage. It was amazing. So it is really cool to see that. But I am shocked that it's not going to be a launch title. So they're working hard on it. Hey, I am all down for make the best game you can make. We can all wait, especially as a casual gamer. I don't have time already to play these games. So if you want to make it take a little bit more time to make this game truly amazing, I'm all for it. But going into the next game, and there's a lot of games they talked about after this, but one of the things, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, that's been out. It's a beautiful game. If you haven't played it, go play it. It's on Game Pass, so you have no excuse if you're already a subscriber. I loved that game. It was so good. And they announced that there is going to be a Series X version of that as well, which, of course, you'll get because it's in Game Pass. It's a smart delivery game. But they're going to have 120 frames per second. I have not played a game at 120 frames per second that I know of. And they did a little demo of it. It was just a little side-by-side clip of a game at 60 frames, which already 60 frames per second is like the
really
standard.
Impressive.
And that's impressive right there. I think the game's already at 60 frames per second, if I'm not mistaken. And they had it slowed down 60 frames versus the 120
so
frames.
much more fidelity.
And because you can't really show that
almost double
on YouTube or something. And it was so cool to see how it compares. So smooth. I am very excited to go back. I'll go back and I 100% of the game. I'll go back in and play that again because I want to. I say 100% of the game. You know, I did. Sorry.
He's 100%.
I 100% of the game. I was thinking achievements, and I did not do that. That game got hard achievements, but I went in there and I did everything you could do in the game, and I will go back in and play again just to experience the 120 frames per second and the audio technology they talked about. They talked about some cool things there too. So pumped about that. But it's not a new game. There were more new games they did talk about. Stuff like. What was it? There was...
Let's talk about the big stuff from Obsidian, Brandon.
Yes, Obsidian.
We have Avowed and Grounded.
Avowed, okay.
And don't forget Outer Worlds, Peril of the Gorgon.
Yeah, let's do that because that was the first they talked about. Outer Worlds, Peril of Gorgon. It's the new DLC for Outer Worlds. I loved Outer Worlds.
It's a good game.
It's a good
for
one.
a free Game Pass game, it's a lot of fun.
Exactly. And I thought it was great. I'll jump back in there and play the DLC because, again, it's included. Watch
the trailer on this game. It is hilariously good.
It's one of those, again, it's an Obsidian humor, which is great, and that's something that carried into the second game they talked about, Grounded, which I think is out now. I saw a little notification on my Game Pass app saying you can download Grounded and play now. But that was a really funny trailer.
Yes,
I thought,
Grounded had a great trailer.
I think since they announced Grounded back last year, when people were excited about the next Obsidian game and they announced Grounded, it's like this. Again, very childlike, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids type game,
yes, exactly
where
like
you
that.
are, a size of an ant, and you are going around in the backyard, building forts and stuff like that. They've announced it late last year, and people were kind of like, "Oh, that's what Obsidian's doing." I thought we were going to do something else.
Give me something good, Obsidian.
Yeah, and their trailer totally played up on that. It was self-deprecating, and I think they said, if you're waiting for the biggest game of the year, wait for Cyberpunk. Right. And it's like, oh, that's hilarious.
So good.
And it's like, if you're waiting for the smallest game, Grounded. And they had some really good Obsidian humor in that, which to me was like, okay, you won me over with that. I like that. I'll give it a shot.
We'll humor you.
Yeah.
I'll wield my pencil with my eraser and attack some bugs.
And it's fun. Again, I'm a dad of 3, so I think my kids might like that.
Good,
they
clean
like the
games.
trailer.
We need those good, clean games.
Exactly. But of course, they ended there. They had 3 games they talked about, but the final one they talked about is one that I think we're going to
Azerik, Rise of Parathia 2.
I remember
Just
that
kidding.
game.
Just kidding.
That.
We're not.
But no, Avowed.
Avowed.
This is really exciting because this is, it looked like Obsidian's take on Skyrim.
Skyrim or
Elder Scrolls type game.
Any Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah. And this is something that I didn't expect. I wasn't sure what they had because then they just talked about 2 other games, which was really cool. But this is the big RPG that they've been working on. And I think this is going to be a real big game changer for Microsoft because Skyrim was amazing. And I know it was made by Bethesda, but this is...
Bethesda has kind of been like this. It's on the downward trend for a while. And seeing a new game like this from Obsidian.
Yeah.
They could totally pull it off.
Because Obsidian did have a part with the Fallout series with New Vegas. So they're and then Outer Worlds was very similar to that Bethesda RPG style. So it'd be really cool to see what they do with Avowed, especially since it's going to be years till we get Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, it's going to be a long time.
We'll never get Elder Scrolls 6.
I don't think they announced who knows? I don't think they announced when Avowed is coming out, but to know that it's coming, it is an Xbox exclusive. We're going to be getting that. I think that is going to round out their portfolio very nicely.
And I'm super excited about Avowed because there aren't a lot of good Skyrim-esque games out there. Like, when was the last time we had a really good Skyrim-esque game? Probably has been a very, very long time.
I mean, literally.
Right, Skyrim. And Skyrim is not The Witcher. Skyrim is not any of these other open-world games that have come since then. We really need something like this in the genre, and I think Avowed could just take the cake on this.
I'm excited because, everybody and their mom knows what Skyrim is, and you can play it on pretty much anything, including, I think, Alexa. So if
you
Skyrim
can play it on Alexa.
You can. It is interesting. So, but it'll be good to see what Obsidian does with Avowed. So, going into after that, there were a lot of games they talked about. They kind of showcased little games here and there. Some were console exclusive launches or console first world premiere, whatever it was, where they might have been on PC before. But there was a lot of things. Just list off a few things and stop me if you have anything to talk about. But they talked about a new game called As Dusk Falls. That's a new interactive storytelling drama. It was interesting.
I haven't never been a huge fan of like really blatant story-driven games. Like I've never gotten into Telltale. Like I'm just not a Telltale guy. But it looked like a really interesting, very human story.
Yeah,
and it looks really interesting.
Yeah, it was. They showcased a little bit of an animation on that, very much like an animated storybook, essentially. I'm curious to see what it will look like with actual gameplay. There was no HUD. It didn't look like there was any. It was essentially a trailer, but I believe it was also what the game is going to look like. So I'm interested to see how that works. I enjoyed Telltale games. I loved the Borderlands, Into the Borderlands, or whatever it was called. That one I loved. A lot of
they had a Batman one. They had
all kinds.
Walking Dead.
Yep, exactly. And so there was a lot of good ones there, and I enjoyed the story-based games just to kind of just kick back and enjoy a nice story. So it'll be interesting to see what this is. It's not Telltale. That's the kind of storytelling media that they're talking about. So there's that. They had games like Stalker II, The Medium.
Yes, the Medium looks really sweet.
I think is
that's an exclusive to Series X.
Yep, that's what they said.
And it pretty much, I think you're a detective. It feels like you're a detective.
Yeah. All I know is the coolest thing about that.
Yes.
Was they said dual, what did they call it?
Like a 2-world render. Like a vertical 2-screen render of 2 simultaneous worlds.
Yeah, where you could go, if I remember correctly, you can go back and forth between these 2 worlds, like I guess the real world and this nightmare world or whatever they call it. Where you go back and forth, I'm assuming, whenever you want to, because they're rendering both these worlds at the same time. To me, that reminded me a little bit of like Halo 2 Anniversary, where they had the back button.
Hot swap games.
Yeah, you could literally you're playing the game, and if you want to see what the graphics look like back in the old days, you could hit the back button, and it literally flips you over to the classic game graphics for Halo 1 or Halo 2, and it was rendering both at the same time. Everything. So that's what it reminded me of there. So it's interesting to see the technology behind this game. Don't know really what's about. Looked kind of spooky.
Right.
Like one of those horror. Yeah, little horror games. They had a lot of horror games.
They did.
They have a lot of horror games coming out, it looks like, because they didn't talk about what they talked about last time, which was like Scorn, which is one of those really creepy looking games.
And we can't forget like Hellblade 2 is definitely going to be there too, and that's more horror than anything else. Exactly.
And they were, that was an interesting side note too. Hellblade Senua's Saga was at the game showcase, but they didn't actually show anything about it because they've already talked about it before. They just kind of said, "Hey, we're still here. Don't forget about us." But yeah, they have a lot of these horror games.
We're going to Iceland, yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. But it is interesting to see another thing that I think could be really cool about this game. Did you ever play Titanfall 2's campaign?
No, I only played the multiplayer for Titanfall.
Titanfall 2, Titanfall 1 didn't have.
Yeah, it didn't have a campaign.
It didn't have a campaign. Yeah. So Titanfall 2, I think it's a phenomenal campaign, a great story, and one of the levels in there was so cool because you had this little time machine device strapped to your arm, and it was only for one level, which was kind of unique. I wanted more of it, but you could literally flip back and forth between the present and the past at any given time, and there were puzzles because again, you can wall run in that game where you would wall run and your wall is going to end, and you would jump and you could flip back into the past, and there would be another wall you could land on and keep your motion continuing. A lot of cool puzzles like that in that level. This kind of reminded me of that in a way where I could see puzzles where you couldn't get past certain places unless you flip back to the other world. I don't know if that's how it is because I just saw a brief glimpse into this, but it's one to look forward to. And again, it's Game Pass, so launch title there. So,
and one game I'm really looking forward to is actually Warhammer 40,000, the Dark Tide game.
Yeah, that one was an interesting trailer too. That was the one where it was just a group of 4 guys.
Yeah, a group of 4 guys and underneath.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, this horde of enemies, right?
Yeah, that looked really exciting. Yeah. And I think another game that's there's no aliens in this game, but another game that was announced, Crossfire X.
Yeah.
Like it really looks like a really like immersive, like counter ops, intelligence ops kind of a game, and it kind of reminded me of a little bit of like a Metal Gear vibe.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's not. It's going to be first person.
Sure.
But it looked really, really fun, really immersive.
And they also had the Gunk, which I know I mentioned briefly. It was like
Clean
one
up
of those,
the world.
Yeah, again, it's one of those games that look like it'd be fun. It has that very childlike quality to it. And again, I am not opposed to this. Again, being a dad, I need something to play with my kids. So again, it would be really cool to see more of this. But this whole showcase, I thought it did a great job of doing things, showing what the diversity of what Xbox can bring. Again, they have 15 game studios. Oh, Psychonauts 2. Totally forgot about that. That's a unique one too. Double Fine is now an Xbox Game Studios studio, and and I'm very excited about that. I really enjoyed the first one when it came out years and years ago, so it's going to be interesting to see this. This is not an exclusive to Xbox because they were making this before they were acquired, so it will be on the PS5, I think, or whatever. It's going to be on other consoles, but it is going to be coming to Game Pass, which is exciting. But all of these games, I felt like did a good job of showcasing the diversity that Xbox had. And it did
a game for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and we can't end our conversation with this without talking about.
We can't end without talking about this incredible game that we're about to mention.
Yes, Playground Games. They have been working on a game. Playground Games, by the way, does Forza Horizon series. So it's like it's a car game, right? No, they've been working on the worst kept secret. Fable.
Yes,
it's here.
Fable's back, everybody.
Fable is back.
Woo!
It is so exciting to see this. Playground, again, it's something new for them. But I'm excited to see their take on it because they have the ability, from what the trailer showed, they understand.
They know the audience of Fable. They know the audience of Fable.
Fable had that
the tongue
humor.
in cheek.
Yes. It was a very
British quality.
Yes, it's a very British game. There, a very fun fantasy world. I know when Fable kind of started going towards like Fable 3, I know that the creators of that kind of regretted going too far into the future with that. It was very steampunk-ish feel for Fable 3. It looks like they're going back to the basics with Fable. This is not Fable 4. It is just Fable, a reboot of the series, which makes complete sense.
Fable, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Whatever the other one was.
Forza Motorsport.
Forza
Halo,
Motorsport.
Yeah, all these things. It is kind of cool to see what they do with this. I don't know. They didn't show any gameplay. This is going to be a game that's still a ways away.
But watch the trailer. Was really good.
Yeah, the CG trailer
was
fun. That was as soon as the announcer or the narrator. Thank you. The narrator was speaking. You could kind of tell. It's like, oh, this is going to be it. This is going to be it. They've been teasing this for a while.
The worst kept secret.
Yes, exactly. And then, of course, the little fairy flying around, and it's a fun trailer, and it definitely shows
captures that essence.
Yeah. So I'm excited, but that will be coming to an Xbox console in the future.
Guys, it's been a ton of fun telling you guys all about the Xbox Game Showcase and a lot of awesome gaming news coming your way and games coming soon.
Yes.
Brando, it's been a huge blast being able to look at all these great games like Halo Infinite and Fable and more. Guys, if you like this content, please consider subscribing. We make content all the time. You're not going to miss a single episode of our show. And if you like podcasts, we have an all-audio version wherever podcasts are provided. I like to say sold, but my producer hates it when I say that because, yes, podcasts are free. But we're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on Google Play, we're everywhere podcasts are delivered. And not only that, but guys, if you like what we do here, be sure to hit us up on Instagram at The Gaming Casuals. We post stuff there all the time. You want to chat us up, let us know about things you're thinking about. If you liked any of these games we announced, be sure to let us know down below in the comments section. We want to hear from you guys. And of course, have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time on another episode of The Gaming Casuals.